My name is David Levin. That name Levin is quite important in the story that we will travel today. What I discovered in England, and we are talking now about the 60s, people knew nothing about wine. And so I started to travel really in the world, realizing that some of the wines were absolutely fantastic. And people knew nothing about them and really didn't understand. So we built the Capitol. I wanted a really smart restaurant. That was in 1969. I always had on my menu at least 6 wines to suggest with the food. It was always to encourage people to experiment and try new things. And so I thought, what I will do is I will produce wine. It was in the 80s. I started to look in France for an area, and I ended up here in the Loire. And I realized that this was an excellent area, but underdeveloped, and I thought, this is a sleeping princess again.
Our 19 vineyards, covering 20 hectares under vine, are in 3 different types of terroir. So there is silex and tuffeau in Bourret, and the sandy loam over smectite, very deep layer of smectite clay in Wally and Chusy. Silex is a specific terroir, 65 million years old. It is a very flinty terroir. You see rock structure in it. It delivers some great minerality, great linear profiles, excellent acidity, some spicy notes. From a growing perspective, having the different terroir with different ages of vines, different clones, different rootstocks, it delivers a range of very individual flavours and profiles. Even during quite dry conditions, vintage conditions, like this year, we really haven't had any rain for nearly 3 months. You can see that the vines are still in good condition because all of our vineyards are organic. The vines remain healthy and vigorous. 2007, we decided that we would go to Ecocer, become certified organic. So we went through the process. It was very easy for us because we have always farmed organically. We are very blessed that we have a team that are committed to organic viticulture. It is something that is driven from the heart. So we have Emmanuel Bienvenu, who heads up our viticulture and winemaking team. We have been thrilled that he has embraced every concept that we have had. Emmanuel is so enthusiastic. He is always wanting to look at new ways of doing things.
Du coup, vous descendez les rangs complets?
Ah bah là, il a fait une marque en état.
Ouais. Ça, on changera tantôt. On mettra en bas. Ouais. On fera long. Un peu. Un peu quoi.
The main element in organic agriculture is in the fact you don't use chemicals to kill the herbs. So it means that we cultivate the soil and introduce also green fertilizer to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere with some herbs like feverol or horsetail, and it allows then to give to the vineyards the full nutriment they need and avoid to add chemicals as in conventional agriculture. If you look at the clay here, you see that the soil is very soft, and it's because of all the work we do with the green fertilizer. So we are quite happy with the result. You see the leaves are very healthy. In the area, the people usually use a machine picking to harvest the vineyards, and it creates a lot of oxidation to the juice and affects the compounds of the Sauvignon Blanc. That's why we prefer hand picking with small bucket to preserve the integrity of the grapes. We also do a selection with a sorting table to put away the worst berries, also the leaves or so on, and it allows us to concentrate our work on the best grapes we have and make sure we offer you the best wine.
So Bourret is where our winery is located. When we hand pick, we are able to transport the grapes as quickly as we possibly can into the winery for delivering the pressed juice into refrigerated stainless steel tanks. The reason why we do this is to maximise aromatics and the flavours within the hand-picked grapes. So there's nothing lost within that half an hour to 40 minutes time it takes to pick and to transport the grapes to the winery.
Before picking, we usually come into the parcel to decide the date of picking, and to do that we analyze the berries, we look after the sugar and also the acidity in the lab. Once we have picked the berries, they are carried to the winery. We pass the grapes into a destimer, then the berries are crushed and transferred to the press, passing into a chiller to cool them. And all this transfer have been done under ice carbon and nitrogen gas to preserve the aromatic compounds. So the juice here in the tanks is ready to ferment, and we will regulate the temperature to maximize the profile of the Sauvignon Blanc. So we will start the fermentation around 12 degrees until 18, and then stress a little bit the yeast to develop the character and the aromatic compounds before leaving the temperature around 20. And it takes approximately 1 week to ferment.
It's not just producing wine, it's producing wine with a philosophy, but also a reflection of the region, how it matches with the local produce, and how that combination of food and wine drives the local culture and becomes part of that culture. Harmony is such an important element of food and wine matching. The real champion of Sauvignon Blanc is the beautiful flinty minerality that is such a gorgeous marriage with ricotta, spinach ravioli, a Dover sole meunière, or a range of cheese. Gamay from the Loire Valley is such an interesting grape variety, perfect for local charcuterie, the rillettes and riom, foie gras, saucisson, and of course we make Gamay as a rosé. All those lovely characteristics, some spicy, savoury notes, lots of lovely crushed red berry flavours, violets, lavender marry perfectly with tomato-based dishes.
We're always trying to maintain a certain standard, a certain style, and that is how New World wines are made as opposed to Old World. We have found here at Levin Wines that our wine, maybe it's organic, maybe it's the way we do things, I don't know, but benefit hugely by age. Our wines reach a peak after 4 or 5 years in the bottle, and so one has to finance that of having X thousands of bottles just waiting to improve. So there's many things to learn. You learn by stages, mainly by making mistakes, but that's the way it is.